If this doesn't work, I'm reinstalling Windows right now. I think my GPU is broken. I've tried everything. Memory RAM test. I tried the MEM test, 86, something like that. One of the most rigorous memory RAM test. Almost 4 hours. 4 hours testing the RAM. No problem. It passed without a single error. I've tried multiple CPU tests, all the Cinebench, 4 hours. No problems whatsoever with the CPU. The drives, I have multiple drives, M.2s, SSDs, regular drives. So I don't think that's a problem because I'm launching the games from multiple sources. And what the problem is, basically, well, let me know if you can hear me well. The problem is that all the games are crashing, but not crashing. I mean, I will be okay if the game just crashes and then it goes to desktop. That's not a big problem. I'm getting a blue screen of death, and the whole PC restarts, and it happens usually when I am changing settings, in-game settings, like if I change from full screen to borderless, or I change the DLSS. If I start changing settings, it happens. But even if I'm just playing the game, at some point it will happen. So sometimes I can play for over 1 hour, no problem, until it happens. It is a problem. So it is kind of a mess. Let me know if you can hear me well. Let me know if my volume is okay. Yeah, I don't know what else to do, man. Like I am right now, as we speak. Yeah, I roll back the drivers. The previous one also have problems. Right now, as we speak, I'm installing Windows 11. I'm choosing the language, United States. United States. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I want. I wanted to get a 5090. Man, if it's the motherboard, man, of course, it would be better if the motherboard is broken rather than the GPU because it's cheaper. But man, to buy again another X570 motherboard. I mean, I already have a B450. Now an X570. Let me move this out of the way. Yeah, that would not be. That would suck because I already, I already had to buy another AM4 motherboard, so that would not be good at all. So let me go here through the keyboard, US, escape. So I'm installing Windows again. See what if that doesn't fix the issue. I'm installing everything. If that doesn't fix the issue, basically I'm gonna take the GPU. I'm gonna take it apart and see if I can, visually see anything that's looks bad, physically, something broken or burnt, or I don't know. And I will repaste the core. Hopefully I don't break the thermal pads because then it's a mess. I have to buy thermal pads and replace them too. I don't think that's gonna fix anything, but I will try it. Maybe it is dirty inside and something is, I don't know. I really don't know what could be. Thanks for Bruno for checking the live stream, Gaming Tech. Thanks for stopping by. What is happening? Random freeze. Check SATA cable and replace them. Anything overclock. Yeah, I remove the overclocking of the GPU, it still happens. And I have multiple drives, and it happens with all the SSDs, the end-up-2 SSDs, and the regular ones with cable. It happens no matter what, because I have games on every single drive. That's one thing, it has been a while since I install Windows, and usually you don't want to be like 4 years, like I've been like 3-4 years with the same. You want to once a year or every 2 years at least do a clean install. The thing is, every time I do a clean install, there is always one game at least that the save files has an issue, or I lose something. No matter what, I try to save everything. There's always I lose something. So let me connect here. Actually, I forgot if I remember my own password. See if that works. So yeah, blue screens. This was happening to me when I enabled FrameGen in games. PC was restarting locally. It is gone since new updated drivers. Yeah, a lot of people are complaining about blue screens and crashes with the latest drivers. Let me check my password here in the phone for a moment, because I forgot my Wi-Fi password, because I'm installing Windows. I got it. So yeah, reinstalling Windows right now. So let's see if that fixes the problem. Flying too close to the sun. Yeah, the other thing is, some people were saying that the problem was probably there before, and I started having the issues when I started using this 360 hertz monitor. So the higher frame rate would be more likely to show any issues, and that makes sense, because my GPU, when I'm getting those high frame rates with low settings and low resolution, of course, my GPU is screaming. It's like, it's like, help me, because my GPU has a lot of coil whine, which is not very nice at all. So yeah, I thought that could definitely be the problem. I never had a problem before, but now with this monitor trying to to push those frames, it is definitely more unstable, maybe. Don't worry, bro. We'll get to the bottom of all this. We will get your $10,000 command center. Well, this one is not $10,000 yet. Let's see if I can get the audio set up. We'll get very close to it. So Rabbit said, I actually have a $10,000 command center. Jensen wasn't wrong. He's never wrong, bro. we just need to listen. He's never wrong. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a console. So that's the thing with PCs. Sometimes this happens. Like, I have not been able to play reliably for that, like 2 weeks. I've had a bunch of issues. And the thing is, once you know you have an issue, at least me, I cannot be just playing and, oh, it doesn't matter. If I can play for 2 hours without a blue screen, that's fine. I cannot do that because I'm changing settings all the time. And yeah, it's like I cannot even use my PC if I know it has an issue. I have to figure it out. I have to fix it because it's just not, I cannot. What do the crash DMP files from your PC say is the cause? What is the error code? That is a great question. I did not check that. When I get the blue screen, it doesn't say anything. I know that it's supposed to save something, and there is like a program or something that can tell you exactly what the problem is. I didn't check that, and I should have, but I didn't check that. Yeah, no 5090 yet. Hopefully coming soon. Some people were saying that we're supposed to start getting a lot of 5090s very soon because Nvidia had allocated some space to produce more chips for AI and data center stuff, and for some reason they are not going to be producing those. So instead, they will replace that with more 5090s, basically. So the business on that side, it seems like it didn't go as expected for some reason. So now they will try to milk gamers instead. So that would be great if that's true. So we can get a lot of 5090s and 5080s. Hey, bro, so sorry you're having issues. It's what it is. So if he's reinstalling Windows, then the DMP files are lost. Yeah. Yeah, I should have checked that. I have a very good friend that I could have reached out, but I didn't. I didn't want to bother my busy friends. I mean, the PC needed a restart anyway. The only reason why I didn't want to reinstall Windows is because I always lose something. It's a mess. Oh, thank you very much for your super chat. Hey, boss, did you roll back Windows update before reinstalling? That's a good. I roll back the GPU drivers, but not the Windows. So you think it could be the latest Windows update? Yeah, I didn't do that. I'll keep that in mind for next time. So I will definitely figure out how to read the blue screen code or whatever gets saved to figure out what the problem is. I will do that. Keep that in mind for next time. And yeah, rolling back the Windows updates. I don't even know how to do that, honestly. I would have to Google that. Concern is if you're reinstalling Windows with the same update and the update broke it, you will have the same issue. Yeah, I'm afraid that might happen. But I don't know why. Why? I don't know why would that be the case, man. I don't know. Well, I'll try. If I have the same issues, then I'm gonna try to roll back the Windows update. I don't know how to do that, but I'll try. I'll Google that. Thank you very much. The 5000 series just ain't worth it, Ariel. You know what I don't like? This really sucks. The games that some of the games that have PhysX, like Batman Arkham Knight, which was definitely one of the games I was thinking on replaying with a 5090 because it's one of my favorite looking games. Actually, the performance is terrible because Nvidia decided to remove the support for something FP32, I forgot. But the hardware responsible for processing the PhysX effects is not there on the 5000 series anymore. So basically, with the 5090, you're getting like 400 frames per second, for example. And one of these Batman games, you turn on PhysX, and now you have to use the CPU for that, and now you're going down to like 30. So that really, really sucks. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they needed that space for all the AI stuff that they added. But that really, I mean, that's such a bummer. That makes the 4090 even more valuable, I think. Like the last GPU that can play, with PhysX. But of course, we're talking about games from older games, for sure. Like PhysX was a gimmick. Very nice, but the performance was very, very demanding. So now finally, when we have the power, the 4090 power, the 5090 power, now it doesn't work. So that's like the ultimate gimmick. Very, very, very disappointing to see that. Yeah, thank you very much. Install Windows 10? No way, man. The thing is, with Windows 11, HDR is better. You have the Windows 11 Auto HDR, which works very well for many, many games. For the games are originally SDR, sRGB. So if you use RTX HDR, which again, you have RTX HDR, I don't think that works on Windows 10. Correct me if I'm wrong. So then if RTX HDR looks too dark, use Windows 11 Auto HDR, or if you don't want to get the performance hit. So that's very important. You have the HDR calibration app on Windows 11. So yeah, it is much better for HDR. Windows 11. So yeah, Windows 10 is not even a consideration. Also, Windows 10 support, I think, is gonna end this year. I think I read that somewhere. Someone is saying if you get a blue screen of death, DMP file is stored in Windows memory.dmp. Okay, let me screenshot that. I'm gonna screenshot that. I'll check that out later. I'll have to check that. If I get the issue again, I'll check that. Try blue screen view to scan mini dump files for more info. Is that like a program? I'm gonna screenshot that too. So if I have the same issue, I will try all these new things. That's why I'm doing this stream, because a lot of people tell me new things to try. So it is installing right now. Andrew says 32-bit PhysX is gone. Yeah, man. That really, really sucks. That just bad, very, very bad. Definitely, I mean, I didn't know that. Literally, one of the first games I wanted to try on my 5090 was Batman Arkham Knight. I wanted to, use DLSS, turn off anti-aliasing, crank all the pixels to the max, and just turn on all the settings. And now I cannot do that. And the PhysX effects in Batman Arkham Knight look fantastic. You have the smoke, which physically interacts with you, with the Batmobile, with everything. You have this paper debris that is also interactive. I mean, it's just amazing. The PhysX graphics with Batman Arkham Knight. Very, very disappointing that Nvidia removed that on the 50 series GPUs. Very disappointing. Did you search the blue screen code with Siri on the iPhone? I asked Siri, and it gives me the answer every time. Go out of here. Like, we don't like iPhone here. Yeah, my family, someone in my family has an iPhone, but I don't. And I was not getting any code, at least not that I could see. The blue screen, it was very fast, and it didn't show me anything, really. Anything I could see. But yeah, that information was there. I just didn't know how to use it. Let me get my, it's asking me for my password here, my email. It's gonna use the same thing I was using before. See if it saves something from the cloud. Sounds like a broken power supply. Windows reinstall, always good too. You know, that could be the case, because my power supply is very good. It's a Seasonic 750 watts Focus Plus Gold. It's very good, but that power supply is already more than 3 years old. It's like 4, actually, it's like 5 years old, actually, 4 or 5 years old. And when I moved to this home, the electric system of the home was almost at the edge. It was a fire hazard, basically. It was hanging on a single cable that was already burned. And every time anything that was high power was turned on, my PC would restart. Like, you open the garage, boom, PC would restart or something. And so the power supply maybe suffered. Also, the voltage was very unstable. Every time the air conditioning was turning on, I could see I have a backup power supply with a battery. One of these APC backup power supplies. And I could see a lot of events all the time. The voltage was very unstable. So maybe the power supply suffered. So that's another thing I can try. I'm gonna get the 5090 anyway. So get a new power supply. That could definitely be a problem. When I do the CPU benchmark, the CPU is not using that much power. That could be. ChatGPT is good too at giving info on Windows error codes. Okay, that is correct. Yeah, Nvidia treats the game-ready drivers like guinea pigs, while the studio drivers are like fine wine. The updates from game-ready come to studio drivers with time. So maybe you get the studio drivers and it's like rolling back. I've never tried the studio drivers. Someone recommended me to do that. So let me get my email here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try the studio drivers too if that doesn't work. So I mean, it really sucks. I haven't been able to make a video because of this. I've been trying to figure out what's going on. That crazy smoke effect in Arkham Knight is gone. It is very, very disappointing. You cannot even use that anymore. What games you think that Nvidia is superior to AMD when it comes to GPU? I mean, honestly, every single game, because of DLSS. That's why. So the thing is, for me, one of the biggest complaints that I had with gaming was the games were looking blurry, with upscaling, with TAA. And in my opinion, Nvidia almost fixed that completely with the latest DLSS transformer model. So for me, that is like number one. Unless the difference in performance is just absolutely huge with AMD, I would definitely get an Nvidia GPU, even if the performance is inferior for the money, because it looks better. You cannot compare 70 frames with 90 frames if they look different. See, so far until now, or before, let's say, because now FSR3 and DLSS, they always look different, and DLSS was better. But it was not that far. Right now, we have to wait and see how good is the FSR4. But right now, I mean, the DLSS transformer model, if you compare that with FSR, it's not even close. I mean, we're talking about, I mean, the future versus the past. It's not even close. The difference is too big. Too big. So let me get this password here. Yeah, so that's the problem with AMD right now. Batman Arkham Knight uses 64-bit PhysX. So GPU accelerated PhysX will still work on 50 series in that game. Oh, really? But I saw a list of games. Yeah, it was 32-bit PhysX, the problem. But I saw Batman Arkham Knight listed there. Well, maybe you're right. It is the older Batman games then. Metro Last Light, the Metro games, the older Metro games also had very nice PhysX. That would be great. That would be great because that's one of the games that I want to go back, and play again with the 5090. I think I saw that on the list of games affected, but maybe you're right. It was definitely one of the latest PhysX games, so it could be that that is using the latest one. So let me. I'm gonna have to. It is never the motherboard, probably power supply. Well, yeah, I have a UPS. I have a. This is an APC, a big one, the big one, like the 900. This is the biggest one I could find. Oh no! HDR Jesus is being tempted by demons. Yes, sir. Studio drivers are designed for stability. Number one, Nvidia is very careful with the studio driver since professionals use it, making stability the utmost importance. But I guess the performance is worse, huh? I don't know because I've never tried it. Can you give me your 3080 when you get the 5090? Well, let me tell you, I hope in the future we start getting GPUs and we start getting a lot of cool stuff for the channel. Let me tell you, ethically, I cannot sell anything that they send me. So what am I going to do with, if I have a 5090, what am I going to do with three 5070 Ti's and 5080s, or if in the future we're talking about maybe 2 years from now, I start getting products for review like that, I will do giveaways because I am not going to sell them. That's unethical. And what am I going to do with all those GPUs after I make a bunch of videos and test them and compare them or whatever? I will give them away. I don't think I'm going to go that route because I do not have it is not very appealing to me to have a bench test PC and be swapping GPUs and reinstalling drivers and comparing the game. I don't think that's gonna be my thing. But will I say no? I mean, if I have any of these companies, Asus, MSI, they ask me, hey, would you like to get a 5070 Ti for review? And I have a 5090. I'm not going to say, no, I'm not interested. I'm gonna say, yeah, send it. It's good content anyway. So if there's a point where I have a bunch of those, I will do giveaways. But right now, I need at least a backup. Because right now, for example, this issue that I'm having, if I had a second GPU, I could try that to see if I have that issue. Because if I have that issue, then it's the GPU or it's Windows, or is it wouldn't help that much. But if I didn't have the problem, let's say I swapped the GPU and now I have no issues, then that would definitely be very helpful. But right now, of course, I'm not in that position. Plus, I need support, and that GPU can still be sold for good money. If it works, if we have an issue, of course, I'm not gonna sell that. And I'm having an issue figuring out here what I wrote here for password. See if that works. So yeah, let's see what happens. Is that true? I might have to try the studio drivers to see if they fixed my issue. Yeah, I'm gonna get a big power supply because in the future I want to try the 5090 and the 3080 I have at the same time with lossless scaling to use the second GPU for the generated frames. And I think that's gonna be a very cool video. Of course, I'm gonna have to. That's gonna be in the future once I get another motherboard that has, with my motherboard right now. If I do that, I am cutting the bandwidth of the main PCI Express that much that I'm gonna lose a lot more performance than what I'm going to gain by using a second GPU for the frame generation. So I need a more recent platform with a motherboard for that. But yeah, I'm gonna get like 1300, 1300 watts PSU. Not for the 5090. I think that's overkill. I could. The thing is, 5090 melting is dangerous. But I think I could use a 5090 with my power supply, and I shouldn't have issues. But I'm not gonna risk that because it's an old power supply and the 5090 is melting already. So yeah, I don't want to have an issue with that. Seriously, yeah, the same setup that I have. Okay, I am new to DLSS swapper and advice. So I was not using the DLSS swapper. The way I share was using the Nvidia inspector profile or Nvidia profile inspector, and then replacing the DLSS. But there are many ways of doing that. I would recommend you to check out, because I'm not gonna do a video if it's already out there. Check out the video from Vox, VOX, YouTube channel. He did like a summary with all the ways we have to force the DLSS transformer model. And I mean, a lot of ways, a lot of ways. And I would recommend you to check out the last way that he shows, because it's the easier one. It's the easiest one, which is basically with the latest drivers, you get the file that Nvidia is actually using, because the Nvidia is not replacing the DLSS file. It is like forcing the latest one without replacing it physically on the game folder. So what you can do is you can download that file, which is a different kind of file with a different name, and you can rename it, change the extension to be the one that DLSS file uses, that MV file. And then you just have to replace that on every single game and it works. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to use DLSS swapper. You don't have to, nothing. It's very easy. Once you have that, you just copy and paste. I am surprised that people, that's not out there on the internet. It should be out there. Maybe if you Google that, you can find that already. Someone shared that and you can just copy and paste and you don't have to do anything else. That's definitely the easiest way. 9070 XT gonna bankrupt Nvidia. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's still, I think it's still too expensive. The only way AMD can compete is making their GPUs almost half the price, honestly. Because it's just too much the advantage of Nvidia. Just way too much. It looks better. The GPU looks better. So and I have to give me a second here because I cannot even see this. Oh, I see now. I see now. Get trying to enter a password here to finish the. Okay, it should work now. Let's go. We got it. So we should be almost done with the installation. I'm gonna install Fortnite. That was one of the ones that was giving me the issue the fastest. I tried Fortnite with high frame rate and it was crashing like crazy. So yeah, I'll try that one. Plasma, any chance making a video on how you started from nothing to basically becoming financially stable? Well, I'm doing well, but I am not at the influencer level or like, you know, motivational speaker level. I'm doing well because you see, the most important thing is that I don't need I need almost nothing. Okay. Yes, I want to buy the 5090 and it's very expensive. But for the most part, I don't spend money on anything. I just buy the food I need to survive, which is very cheap, and support my family. That's it. Like, actually, I spend so little money that I've given away a lot of money to friends and family because I don't need any. So that is my biggest wealth. My wealth is my health, being healthy, being strong, and basically realizing that I don't need anything. So if I don't need anything, I'm rich. Say so I can buy almost anything I want because for me it's easy to accumulate because I don't buy things. That's why you see on a live stream I have a sock that has a hole because I don't care. You know, it's like, so that's if I am wealthy in any way, that's the way. It's not because I make a lot of money, it's because I don't spend money. There are some people who make a lot of money, 5-10 times more money than what I make, a lot more, and they live like this and they are in debt. Like, I have no debts. If I have the money to buy something, I buy it. If I don't buy it. I never do like a payment plan or something like that. I think it would be ridiculous to buy a 5090 and do a payment plan or something like that. If I don't have the money, I don't buy it. You know, so I have no debt at all. So yeah, that's the thing. But that's as far as I can tell you right now. I'm still not at the level at that level of giving you better advice. I think the best advice is realizing what you really need. It's not that much. I don't need a 5090. I want it, and I do have the money saved because I have not been buying other stuff. So yeah, I can buy a 5090. But it's not the most responsible thing to do financially. That's for sure. Yeah, when I did my research on how much better the studio drivers are overall, I never went back to the game ready drivers. I prefer to wait and take a minor performance hit. I mean, that would be an interesting thing to look for comparisons in performance between the game ready drivers and the studio drivers. But I don't want to lose any FPS. that's the thing. Let's see. Yeah, this is almost done. But I prefer worse HDR, but usable than not usable. Better HDR in Windows 11. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Windows 10, the HDR is just you can use reshade, major paint the cactus, and in-game HDR, but you are very limited in options. I definitely recommend you Windows 11 just because of that. And buy 5090, yeah, for sure. Local Micro Center got 5070 Ti, about the same amount as 5080s at launch. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking, man, should I go to the 5070? Just to go to Micro Center and do a live stream or something like that. But I'm like, no, man, that's a lot of effort. If I'm not gonna even buy it, why would I do that? That would be crazy. That was not easy. It was not easy to wait the whole night for a 5090 and then go back home empty-handed. That was not nice. You got your 5090 Ti Astro. I don't have a translator on the live chat. Nonsense. Buy a 5090 with credit and sell it for twice the profit, and pay the debt and pocket the profit. Yeah, you can always do that. Most people buying the 5090 that day, they were just scalpers. But yeah, I don't like to do that either. I know it's a safe. I mean, if you can buy a 5090 right now, it's safe. You can resell it, but these companies are already scalping it. So you're not getting a 5090 for $2,000. Otherwise, you can make a profit very easily, but that's not happening right now. Ariel, I saw a 2021 video when you said the LG 27-inch 240 hertz was a terrible idea, but you love the 27-inch 360 MSI now? What changed? Well, the LG has a matte finish. That's the first thing. Right, so I am already on Windows. I will start installing drivers and stuff. So matte finish with all the WRGB, almost all of them have a matte finish. So WRGB OLED monitors, matte finish, that's a no-go for me. So the screen size, nothing has have changed. The bigger the better. So I don't like 27-inch screen size. This monitor even has an option to reduce the screen size to 24.5 inches, because some competitive players, for some reason, want a smaller screen size that just doesn't make any sense. But I'm not a competitive player. Maybe if I was really into it and practicing to improve my skills and be better at playing, maybe I would realize why it would be better to have a 24-inch screen for competitive. But I have no idea why would anyone would want to do that. So yeah, 27-inch. I mean, I much rather play on my big TV. It's not even close. But the thing is, right now, if you want 360 hertz or 480, you have to get a monitor. There are no TVs that are even 240 hertz. The best we're going to get is 165 with the G5 and the S95F. So, yeah, monitors. It's the only way you can get that level of performance. Now, would I change my 360 hertz monitor for my TV? If I could get 360 FPS on a game, in some games, yes. It's just amazing to play with 360 frames per second. It's just or 325 if you're using Nvidia ultra low latency mode and all of that. You don't play at 360. It lowers your frame rate to 225 to improve the latency. I think I might just turn off ultra low latency because the latency is gonna be good enough without it, because you're getting 360 frames per second on an OLED. So I don't think it would be relevant any further improvements, and I would appreciate more the better motion. So the thing is, it is fantastic, but I cannot get 360 frames per second in almost any game. That's the thing. And I would not recommend anyone to play without locking the FPS. For me, it is a must to lock the frame rate. If I'm playing like 360 and it goes down to 280 and then it goes up and down like this, it's just not a good experience at all. Not a good experience, especially when you are CPU bound. The differences are huge. Sometimes you go from 180 frames up to 300, and that difference is just gigantic. So it is always better, in my opinion, to lock the frame rate. But if I could play, so for those people who play with 360 or even 240 VRR and the frame rate is going up and down, I would recommend you just lock that. So if I could play 360 FPS locked, no changes, would I play on the monitor versus my TV? Yes, it is that good. Okay. Not every single game. Maybe there are some games where I'm going to prefer to enjoy the HDR. The TV has much better HDR highlights. It's not even close. And the colors are better too. The accuracy is better, the white balance. The picture quality in general of my S90D is far superior to a monitor. The only thing that is not as good is the full screen brightness. The monitor has higher full screen brightness. It's like 15 nits more, which is significant. At that point, from 200 to 250, that's a significant difference. Aside from that, the other advantage of these MSI QD OLED monitor, in my opinion, it is an advantage. The screen looks more glossy than the S90D. I don't know how to show that on a video. I will definitely cover that in a specific video. Try to use a light reflection and see if the camera shows the difference. Basically, if I point a light to the screen, the monitor looks brighter in the reflection than the TV. The TV has a little bit of anti-glare, and I don't like that. That is worse, in my opinion. Now, the only advantage of that anti-glare with the TV is that, let's say you have the bright mouse on screen, the nearby pixels will glow more on the monitor than on the TV. So the anti-glare helps a little bit to mitigate that issue, but that's not worth it, in my opinion. Better, the glossier, the better. The monitor looks more glossy. That is better, in my opinion. But screen size, for me, is king. You get a bigger screen size, that is better. Now, I am looking forward to getting the 27-inch 4K QD OLED monitor from MSI. They will send me that, hopefully soon. That monitor is it's in such a high demand, it's out of stock everywhere. You cannot get it. Because 27-inch 4K QD OLED has basically almost flawless text clarity, and you have QD OLED colors, and it looks very, very sharp. Of course, such a small screen. I am very curious to compare the resolution, the sharpness of that small 4K QD OLED versus my TV, my S90D. I don't think it's gonna make any sense, honestly. But maybe I will be surprised. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open something like Days Gone, which I show on a video. You turn off TAA completely. That game doesn't even have DLSS, doesn't have FSR3, doesn't have upscaling. It's from the era before upscaling. You turn off TAA on that game and it looks awesome. You feel like you almost don't need any anti-aliasing. Maybe just a little bit of SMAA, which you can inject with reshade. So that game, for example, on that 4K 27-inch monitor might look perfect. It might look super sharp, and the shimmering might not be even noticeable at all at a normal viewing distance. So if I see that versus the S90D, 65-inch, then I'm gonna be like, okay, I see the point of a smaller screen size. But if I can still see the issues, I'm gonna be like, why would you pay more money for a smaller screen size? That doesn't make any sense. That monitor I'm talking about is more expensive than a 32-inch 4K QD OLED. That's nonsense. Why would you pay more money for a smaller screen size? I will go with a 32-inch 4K 240 hertz any day over a 27-inch. I mean, it's just so obvious to me. But if it has that retina level, resolution because of the smaller screen size, maybe I will reconsider my opinion on that. But yeah, my opinion has not changed at all. I will play with the TV any day, unless I can get 360 FPS, which is amazing. Did you fill out? And the other thing is, before I jump, if we have CRT simulation, and now I don't need 360 FPS, I only need 60 or 100, 120, and the motion looks like 360 on every single game, then that's gonna be a tough choice. But let's see. Did you fill out the Nvidia Verify Access form thing? Chance to buy a 5090 from Nvidia. I think you sent me the email. Yeah, I checked it out. Thank you very much. Hey man, just got here. What's the error code of your blue screen? And I should have checked that. I didn't check. I am repasting my GTX 770 to use with a CRT monitor. I repasted my 1050 Ti, but that was so easy to take apart. I mean, just a few screws. But my 3080, I guess, is a lot more difficult to take apart. And the only thing I'm afraid of is taking it apart and breaking the thermal pads, because then I'm gonna have to buy thermal pads to replace. And yeah, this I don't want to have to do that. But if I can reuse the same thermal pads, then it should be easy. Best Buy drop rumor for online tomorrow. I'm thinking in the morning. So you think I should just refresh Best Buy all night long? I will. I'm gonna check it out. I'm honestly, I'm tired of refreshing. I mean, it's very discouraging. You keep doing it and nothing happens. It's just new Nvidia driver. Her problem come back to 566 Nvidia driver. Yeah, 566, 36. I don't remember it giving me blue screens, but I was getting flickering. So I'm like, why? My monitor was flickering, even with a locked frame rate, no fluctuations, even with VRR off. I'm like, this monitor is broken. Then I disabled DSC, and at 240 hertz, I don't see the flickering. So I'm like, man, this monitor has an issue with 360. Then I roll back the drivers, and then I update the drivers to the newest one, and the flickering is gone. But now I'm getting blue screens. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. We gotta get plasma at 5090. Mission number 1 in the channel. Man, I'm gonna go crazy with that 5090. TechJet City did an important video for the 5090 connector and PSU. Oh, check it out. I like TechJet City. He's a great YouTuber. I like his content a lot. The competitive players all play 5 centimeters away from the screen. The monitor size doesn't matter. Well, but here's the thing. I tried to get as close as possible to the monitor. It doesn't matter how close I get. I cannot feel my field of view more than with a 65-inch. With a 65-inch, I get close and I get my field of view more. It is very easy to get my field of view like past beyond the point of immersion, where I have to step back a little bit. With the monitor, I cannot do that. No matter, I cannot get close enough. It's just not possible in a comfortable way, of course. So I get those blue screens. Sometimes just playing for a while, it happens. But if I start changing settings, especially changing from full screen to borderless or alt tab to desktop and then back to the game and all the stuff, that triggers the blue screen faster. 240 hertz plus on OLED monitor equal to CRT goodness. Well, actually, we need more than that. Not even 360 hertz is enough to get CRT goodness, but it is definitely good enough. I believe 240 hertz is the sweet spot for most people. Getting more than that might not be worth it. So I believe most people much rather increase the graphical settings, get better lighting, get more pixels, better shadows and all of that. Most people would do that instead of lowering the settings to get past 240. But for CRT-like motion, we definitely need 1000. But with the 500 hertz QD monitor coming out this year, that should be pretty good, to a point where, yeah, it doesn't really matter that much. For most people, it's not gonna matter that much beyond that. Now, how are you gonna get 500 frames per second? That's something else. But I already asked MSI for that monitor. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna ask you anything else. That's the monitor I want. And I'm telling you right now, please, because I reached out for the 5090. It was too late. They didn't have any 5090. And I said, hey, I'll pay for it. I don't even need the 5090 for free. I will pay for it. And they said, well, we have none right now. So I reached out too late. But for that monitor, which is still, I think is, it's still like, we don't know exactly yet, but at least like 3 months away, 2-3 months away. I said, I want that monitor. And of course, I definitely need the 5090 for that monitor. And I definitely need 9800X 3D or whatever comes. That's better than that, because 500 FPS. Now, if we get the CRT simulation, then it doesn't matter. I don't need 500 FPS. I just need 60 or 100 or 200, 100, or depending, how's the brightness of that monitor and the settings we have. But yeah, hopefully we can get the CRT simulation, because that would mean basically you can get the 360 or 500 hertz experience all the time, every single game, no matter what. Even if you have a lower end GPU, it doesn't matter. You just need 60 FPS and you get all the motion clarity. That would be great. Yeah, exactly. That's why VR can be like a giant screen. I also tried VR with a giant screen. Actually, I share that. I share how to get 3D with reshade. If you have a VR headset, I tried that in some games like Elden Ring, for example. I played Elden Ring on a gigantic screen with a VR headset on 3D. So the game was looking 3D, was looking awesome. Yeah, I think, why would you buy like a 116-inch TV, which is very, very expensive, if you can get a better headset, which is a lot cheaper? I think in the future, VR headsets will kill the huge TVs, because it's not gonna make any sense other than for a home theater, for the family to watch alone. Because the VR headset is only for you. And the comfort side, of course, matters. I would rather do 240p on a 60 hertz CRT than 240 hertz on an OLED. Well, I get where you're coming from, but yeah, OLED. The thing with CRTs is the resolution for AAA games. Because if you play a retro game, it doesn't matter; it looks sharp. But these games today, if you play with lower than 1080p, it looks awful. And it's the games, because the assets on the game are not even 1080p, are lower than that, so they look terrible. So the problem with CRT is the screen size and the resolution. Right now, if we had a 4K, let's say 2K CRT, that was 27-inch 2K, 100 hertz, even 200 hertz. There are some CRTs that are 200 hertz. That would be perfect for competitive gaming. That would be just absolutely amazing. So yeah, hopefully that's not happening, but it's a shame. Man, we got a lot of comments. We have 90 people here in the chat. I'm missing a lot of comments already. I'm waiting for 42-inch 4K QD OLED monitor. I think Samsung knows that's what people want for PC gaming. So it should happen. It should happen at some point. The monitors will get there, and they will be very expensive. So the thing is, monitors are just way too expensive for the screen size. It makes no sense, honestly. Like, why would you pay over $1,000 for a small monitor when you can get a TV like I did for $1,000? 65-inch QD OLED TV for $1,000. Why would you get a monitor, 32-inch for that price? It makes no sense. So imagine now we get a 42-inch QD OLED for $1,500. That's nonsense. Why would you pay that? $1,500 for 42-inch QD OLED when you can get a TV that is 65-inch for that money, reliably, like very easily, all day long. There's no demand for that. You can just walk into any store and buy it. For $1,500, you can get a 65-inch QD OLED, like the S90D, for example. In a lot less than that. I got my S90D for $1,200, brand new. So why would you spend more for a smaller screen size? It makes no sense. Yes, you get the 240 hertz and all that stuff, but I think it's just not not good enough. And the TVs are now going up to 165. Unfortunately, Samsung is putting a matte finish on the S95F, which is killing that TV. It's just one of the best. I mean, the best TV. It could be the best TV. If Samsung didn't have the One Connect box and the matte finish. So I'm updating all the drivers for the motherboard and the GPU and all that stuff. You need to fill out an application for a 5090. I hope they don't ask for my money. Okay, I am okay with filling out an application and waiting in line, but I'm not okay with giving them $3,000 to wait for 3 months until they have my 5090. I'm not okay with that. That's like a loan, like giving these companies a loan. I'm not doing that, but I'm gonna check that out. I'm going to check that out. See if I get a chance. Older drivers had issues with low LFC, low frame rate compensation, and that caused flickering. But it should be fixed with the 5070 drivers. But here's the thing. Yeah, it's interesting because the flickering issues that I had was with the 566 drivers, and the flickering went away with the latest drivers. But my question is, I was getting over 200 frames per second. I was playing Resident Evil Village at 1440p with lower than high settings, and I was getting way over 200 frames, and the frame time graph was locked. Actually, I locked the FPS to like 211, 220, something like that. I forgot. No fluctuations at all, and I was getting flickering. And I even turned off VRR, and I was getting flickering. So something was weird. Something was not working well for me with the flickering. 4K. Then your vision is worse than 2020. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Try for 9 a.m. on your phone, computer, laptop, refreshing the screen that shows all 5090s. F5 refreshes too. I think save some trouble clicking. Okay. At 9 a.m. That sounds like a plan. I'll be checking tomorrow morning. Best Buy. Okay. Yeah, low frame rate compensation. Yeah. But what happened again, man? Why is PC so problematic? Yeah, PC. Sometimes you just don't play anything on PC. That's how it goes. Sometimes you're just fixing issues. PC gaming is not so much PC gaming, or it is less PC gaming than what you think. It is a lot of PC fixing, PC settings, and PC figuring out. Yeah. Just dropping in your PC not working. My 4090 being a brick since the first 50 series update. It literally won't boot any game, period. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, for me, the games are booting and they are playing for a moment, but I get blue screens. Interesting. So I mean, definitely the latest drivers, when they updated the transformer model, they definitely have issues. A lot of people out there are complaining about it. A lot of people, but I haven't seen a lot of complaints with blue screens. One thing is the game crash. Okay, that's an issue. But a blue screen and your whole PC restarts, that's a problem. That's a big problem. So yeah, but I mean, I would prefer if my game doesn't even open. instead of getting a blue screen. If you're getting a blue screen again, check the DMP file. If the error code is 0xa, try disabling HDR and see if it fixes your issue. I think I tried HDR off too, but I'm gonna screenshot that. I think I tried HDR off. From PPI, the visual acuity targets 20/20 vision since it's low average. 27-inch 1440p is the same PPI as 40-inch 2160p. But the thing is, again, I am interested to check out that 4K 27-inch monitor. But I believe 4K is 4K. Forget about PPI. 65-inch 4K TV has more detail than 27-inch 1440p. It doesn't matter that the PPI is a bigger number on the monitor. It doesn't matter. You get more pixels, you get more details, and it looks better. So yeah, but that's definitely gonna be something that I will compare once I have that monitor. I think it's gonna be very interesting comparison to really have a final opinion on that matter. But actually, Samsung already has a prototype of a 5K monitor that is probably gonna be launched in 2026, but it will be 5K at 27-inch. Again, yes, that's gonna be like almost Retina level. PPI, I think it's like 220, 222 or something like that, or 200. I forgot. But it's gonna be 120 hertz. That makes no sense. Why would you do that? Of course, if you're doing something else that is not gaming, that might be perfect for you. As a content creator, you do editing or something like that, maybe it is better to have the extra real estate. Maybe you can do 4K playback on a smaller window and it actually looks like 4K. So it can have a lot of advantages. But for gaming, 120 hertz, I much rather have 240 4K than 120 hertz. And 27 inch is just too small. I would be a lot more excited if they say, you know what, next year TV is 5K. Let's go. If they say next year's TV is 5K, 200 hertz or 240 hertz, wow, let's go. Give me that. That's a reason to upgrade. Definitely. But that's not what they're thinking. Samsung is saying that they are focused right now in increasing the pixel density first, and then after that they will focus on getting the brightness, because these monitors, when it comes to HDR, they are not even close to TVs, not even close. And they are prioritizing the pixel density, because here's how it works. Samsung wants to push the higher resolution. And the problem is, with a higher resolution, to get more brightness on a smaller screen is a bigger challenge. So it seems like Samsung doesn't want to push the brightness with the current monitors that we have, because then the higher resolution monitors wouldn't be able to get that high with the brightness. And then people are going to say, oh, I don't care about the resolution. The HDR is worse. They don't want that. So even when they have this latest QD OLED panel with a 5-layer cake that is a lot more efficient, it's like 30% more efficient, and that it gets a lot brighter on the TVs. I mean, we're going to see on these TVs amazing brightness, over 2,000 nits on the 10% window, over 400 nits full screen. We will see that on the TVs. And these monitors are not even close to that. I mean, not even on the same realm. That doesn't make any sense. Samsung is intentionally nerfing the brightness and the HDR potential of these monitors. And I think the reason is they want to push a higher pixel density with that 5K 27-inch monitor, and they will try to see, okay, how bright can this monitor get? 300 nits full screen, okay, that's how bright the rest of the monitors are going to be, because they don't want their flagship 5K monitor to be dimmer and have less good HDR. I think that's what's going on, because I watched the display guy, and he said he spoke with Samsung and that they were focused on pixel density first, and after that they will focus on getting a little bit more brightness. So that's why I'm saying that, basically. So everything's looking good. I updated all the drivers for the motherboard. Let me go to Windows updates. Update window. So everything, all the drivers and everything updates. Mine started the first time on my 4090 trying the DLSS override in Red Dead 2. On my 4070 laptop PC, been running fine. I don't know what's going on. The other thing I thought is that the problem with the blue screens was the DLSS transformer model. The way I was forcing the DLSS was conflicting with the Nvidia app, trying to do forcing it or not, because with the Nvidia inspector profile, I was globally forcing the DLSS preset J, and then on the app I had latest, and then latest is the preset K, and then the K with the J, and I don't know, maybe I thought that was the issue, but after doing a clean install of the drivers, I didn't use the Nvidia inspector profile, and I didn't even use the Nvidia app to force the DLSS transformer model, and I was still getting the issues. Actually, I was getting the issues without using DLSS at all. So it happens with Fortnite using TSR, for example. So yeah, 390 hertz. Keen. Cannot wait for 800 hertz monitors. Yeah, the higher the better. The higher the better. Your 5090 isn't working? Well, I don't have the 5090 yet. I will go crazy if the 5090 doesn't work. Yeah, I have this. That's what I have. I have my 3080, 12 gigabytes. I'm afraid it's actually dying. Or it's protesting because it knows it's gonna be replaced very soon. So if this doesn't work, I'm taking it apart. I'm taking it apart, and then see what happens. Increase RAM memory voltage by 0.01 or 0.02. So in BIOS, maybe it is old, so it needs a little bit more power. If it was power supply, it would reset the PC, not blue screen. Oh, interesting. Reset the PC if it's power supply without blue screen. Okay. Well, the thing is, it is not the RAM, because yesterday I ran the mem test 86, I think is the name. It was a 4 hours long memory RAM intense testing, and it passed without a single error. The other thing is my memory RAM is already maxed out. Like, the voltage cannot be increased. Like, it is the maximum for the platform. With using XMP, I believe you cannot increase it, not even a 0.01. It's already maxed out. So my RAM doesn't have any issues. RAM is not, doesn't seem to be the problem. The CPU is not the problem either. Visual distance should be lowered if visual acuity is worse than 2020. Raise if it is better. Okay. What GPU is your PC running? This is an RTX. Is an RTX 3080. You can see here 3080, 12 gigabytes. The Asus TUF OC. This is the low hash rate version of the GPU. So yeah, that's the GPU I'm using. I never had an issue with it. The temperatures are so cool still. I'm gonna take it apart and repaste it, but the temperatures are insane. I mean, it's like 62 degrees, 63. I mean, it's like not even working. When I'm playing the games, it's like very, very cool. It's never 70 degrees, never. Have you tried display driver uninstall? Yeah, I tried that DDU. Actually, I shared that on a video with a Spider-Man video. I shared that, and it definitely improved and helped things. But I was still getting the crashes, the blue screens. I can tell you is use DDU all the way back to July's 24 drivers to no avail. Yeah, that's the only thing I didn't try, like a very old, driver. So what distance with a VR headset? Projection has a unique quality to it that emissive displays don't have. So I have to reboot. Yeah, I have not tried projectors. I've never tried a projector. It would be cool to try a projector, but the thing is, it requires a lot of space. I do have a basement, so I can, set up a projector screen, but it's so big, you need a lot of space for it, I think. But yeah, it would be cool if one day I can get like a review sample for a projector. But I think the input lag is not good for gaming for most projectors, and the contrast is not very good either. Maybe for movies it works, but yeah, I don't think for gaming projectors are good. Since there are optics in VR, this calculation changes. But to give an idea, the iPhobia has about 8 megapixel if you divide the 120-degree field of view by the phobia. Bruno knows his stuff. So I tried a firmware update. My 3080 already was using the latest firmware. So when I tried to install it, it said that I didn't need that. So it is not necessary. Okay, so I'll keep going with the Windows updates. Okay, so I think the Bluetooth update, it's like an Intel update here that failed. The only thing Intel that I have here is the Bluetooth. I have a Bluetooth card. The update failed. Okay, I'll have to figure that out later, but everything else worked. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see if I have the latest drivers already, if I have to manually download them. So right now, the Nvidia drivers 560.94. So Windows installed the drivers 560.94. 0.94. That's old. It's very old. Well, I'm gonna try those before I mess up the drivers and start getting blue screens. I'm going to try those and see. I don't want to download a game right now to install it because I'm doing the live stream. So I think the live stream is gonna get messed up if I download a game to install it. So I'll try that later and let you know. Hopefully I can get this figured out today. To make a video. I want to make a video. I have a lot of videos and waiting for this. I'll try. What a crazy GPU launch. Did you try to get the 5070? 5090 has been amazing for me so far. Oh, we have someone here flexing his 5090. Well, congratulations. I bet. That's an amazing GPU. Just got delivered to me yesterday. Stock should be getting better soon, though, for you. Congratulations, bro. Enjoy your 5090. I bet it is amazing. That's for sure. 400 megapixels, so 10 by 7K resolution, but it's actually not needed since your brain generates that. Yeah, we have Bruno dropping the knowledge bombs. Monitors are low-key kind of embarrassing compared to TV. So small and worse performance. Yeah. And once we have 240 hertz TVs, it's a wrap. I mean, that's why I mean, these TVs are definitely, just spoon feeding us the improvements, just a little bit more hertz every year. Probably next year is gonna go up to 200 from 165. We get 200, and then we might get 240. But I doubt they will jump immediately to 240 because they still want to milk with the monitors, with the smaller screen size. I mean, it is more profitable. A smaller screen has to be cheaper for them to produce, but they're selling it to you for a lot of money. The 32-inch 4K QD OLED, $1,000. That's. I mean, you get a TV for. I got a 55-inch S95C for $760. Okay, of course that's not the price of the S95C, and it was in clearance. I understand you can also get some deals with the monitors, but it's just not even close. I got the S90C 65-inch for $1,000, and the S90D, the TV from that year, from this year, for $1,200. I mean, from last year, but you get the idea. I bought it last year, so it's just insane. It won't be the same for PC. So I mean, I miss a lot of comments. Let me get to more updated comments. Latest studio drivers version 572.16 versus game ready driver version 572.42. So what is the results? 240 hertz TVs will come, and then monitors will be 4K 480. Yeah, they definitely have to be higher. But the thing is, what's interesting about, for example, this monitor we're gonna get that's 500 hertz, 1440p QD OLED 500 hertz. We're gonna get that this year. The interesting thing is that the advertisement is about the new circuit that allows for that. It's not the new QD OLED panel that can be 500 hertz. I bet with the same new circuit, they could use older panels and push 500 hertz. So the OLED technology, because it has ideal gray to gray for these refresh rates, it would be no issue for QD OLED to go 500 or even 1000. So these TVs could be a lot higher. So the OLED panel, the panel itself, is not the limitation. It is something else. So I think they don't give us more because they don't want. It's basically my point. They could give us a lot better and faster displays, but they don't because they don't want. It's just they are spoon feeding us just a little bit better this year, next year, a little bit better. So you keep buying and buying. Because imagine you can get a TV right now that's 500 hertz, 5K, 500 hertz, 4,000 nits peak brightness, 440 nits full screen. I mean, you don't need any other display ever. Why would you upgrade from that? They're not gonna give you that. Even if they could, they don't want to give you that. That's the thing. So it is like very slowly. Right now, that they settle on DisplayPort 2.1b being the spec, we might see that next year. And we need that. We need that for the 4K, 480 hertz uncompressed and all the stuff. We need that. It is very, very important. That means, for example, you can get 1000 hertz 4K with DSC. We need that. That's awesome. The latest GPUs don't support that. I mean, the 2.1, yeah, but the 2.2 is what I was thinking. The 2.1b is just, the B is like a protocol to allow for longer cables, to have longer cables, because the DisplayPort 2.1 cables are very short. The monitor that I should get, the 4K 27-inch QD OLED, that one has DisplayPort 2.1b. So it is uncompressed. It's 4K 240 hertz without DSC if you use that. So that would be great. Of course, I need a 5090. I need a 50 series GPU at least to do that. So yeah, that would allow me to use DLSS and all of that. Although with the latest 50 series GPUs, you can even use Nvidia image scaling and DLSS. Even with DSC, it works, which is very, very good, very interesting. My RTX 4070 Super is just fine, skipping the 5000 series. Yeah, I mean, I have a 3080. If I get a 5090, that is more than double the performance on every single game. In some games, I'm getting like 2.6x the performance. Of course, if I'm not CPU bound, but if I'm CPU bound, then I just increase the pixels. You get it. You increase the settings too. Why not? So it is worth it. But if you have a 4070 or 4070 Super, something like that, I mean, you already have frame generation. I don't with my 3080, so that's a big deal too. Ariel saw a second-hand Asus PG27A QDM for $300. It is a 27-inch WOLED matte, 240 hertz, 1440p WRGB OLED. Should I grab it? I have IPS. I mean, of course. I mean, run and buy that, of course. I mean, when I tell you, oh, I don't like the matte finish and WRGB, I'm comparing. Like if I had to choose, I'm telling you what I would get, but price is super important. If you can get that monitor for $300 and it doesn't have any issues, I mean, it is an OLED, okay? It's a 240 hertz OLED with perfect blacks. For that price, yes, absolutely get it. If you need a monitor, that's great. And you're coming from an IPS monitor. The difference is gonna be huge. I'll be afraid to bend the monitor. Imagine buying the wrong version. I mean, bend the monitor. I don't know. I don't understand what you're. These monitors are fragile. This one is bent. This monitor I got is bent. There, something smashed the top of the screen, and I see the paint damage, and the monitor was bent a little bit. But it's not a big deal because I got it for free. Otherwise, if I paid for it, then I would definitely replace it. But I'm not gonna replace it. I got it for review. So 4070 Ti Super is the perfect value 4K GPU. That's a great GPU, man. Know what DLSS 4 looks almost. No, that DLSS 4 looks almost perfect. Outplay 4K performance, anything with these 4070 Ti Super Ultra settings. Yeah, 4K performance is looking great. I can play Minecraft at 500 FPS 4K. Yeah, 5090 can play Minecraft at 2000 frames per second. I saw a benchmark. That's crazy. 2000 frames per second. We need that too. I wanted to make a video explaining the Blur Busters law again, but shorter, easier, more clear, better now. I think I can do it better now. So for those of you who have been following me for a while, at this point you already know, but a lot of people don't understand that, and I think it is very important that people understand because, for example, if these game developers care about motion clarity, there's no way these games would be running so poorly. No way. There's no way we get a Monster Hunter Wilds, no way, because that's a mess. It's almost unplayable. So the targets, what they are trying to deliver, even for the consoles, should be a lot higher. Not even 60 FPS is enough for the consoles. I think they should target 120 frames, and it is possible. The games just need to lower a little bit the graphics and the scope and optimize them better, but it should be possible. Okay, and that's what the target should be, because most console gamers have a TV, and TVs today, most of them are 120 hertz, especially the TVs that console gamers are using. So I think it's so important to share, our motion clarity understanding. So more people are aware motion clarity is important. So we need more. Even 120 hertz is not enough either, but at least it's not a mess. It's okay, I truly didn't expect anything other than minor incremental upgrades to DLSS, but 4 is mind-blowing. If I had any power to give feedback to Samsung now, with MSI, I can actually give them my feedback. Actually, I already asked, and they said, yeah, we receive any feedback that you have. And of course, you know what I'm going to ask them. We need CRT simulation. We need flickering technologies. Why not include a processor on the monitor to have some processing like TVs do? Why not to have something like Samsung's Game Motion Plus on a monitor? Imagine you have a 240 hertz QD OLED monitor that can go from 120 to 240. And you might think, well, that's not necessary. We have frame generation now on the GPUs. Well, there's a big difference, because when you use frame generation on the GPU, you're actually losing performance. Okay? If the frame generation is done by the monitor, you don't lose performance. So that's better. And I think it should be possible to do very, very well from 60 to 120, even from 60 to 240 could be possible. It's gonna require some processing power. That's okay. Increase the price of the monitor. That's what I want. Increase the price of the monitor and $200. If the monitor comes with low latency motion interpolation for gaming, basically frame generation, with a very powerful processor. So you can play all the games at 60, 90, 100, 120, and then the monitor does the rest. So you get that motion clarity, or maybe even just from 60 to 120. And then at 120 FPS, the monitor does flickering to give you the maximum motion clarity. It does something like the CRT simulation, but at a hardware level, which could be even better. So in that way, you can utilize the monitor all the time for every single game, because you cannot run every game at 360 FPS, even if you have a 5090 and a 9800X 3D. It just doesn't work. Some games are CPU bound. So those are the kind of things that I want to, that's the feedback that I have for these companies. So yeah, the bigger we get, the louder our voice becomes, and the more we can help move things our way, basically. Don't forget Linus playing Minecraft 16K. Yeah, there are some people playing with the 5090 at 16K. Some games like GTA 4, and you can get GTA 5. You can get like 60 FPS at 16K. Actually, I knew I could make DLSS 4 works on any game. My mind blew. Yeah, you have an IPS panel and never saw an OLED monitor. I hope one day I can. Absolutely. Went from an IPS to an OLED, the difference was insane. Yeah, some people actually get disappointed because the OLED doesn't have the full screen brightness. A lot of people, it is difficult to, they get used to 500 nits plus full screen brightness, or even 1000 nits if you have a high-end mini LED monitor, and then you go to an OLED, it's like 200, 250. You're like, okay, this is not bright enough. And then you have EOTF tracking issues, and then the monitor is crushing blacks too. So it's not a perfect jump for everyone, basically. But I would say forget about LCD, just get an OLED. It's just better. It doesn't matter if it's not brighter, it's still better. My first ever experience with OLED was the PS Vita. But the panel was so strange because you couldn't get perfect blacks, always raised. That's weird. I've never tried a PS Vita. I have the Aorus FO32U2P QD OLED monitor with display 2.1. People slept on it. Okay. Nice. A lot of phones using OLED displays. Yeah, almost all the phones. Basically all phones. Yeah. Even Switch and Steam Decks are OLED now. Yeah, the only LCD monitor that I want to try is the Nvidia Pulsar. If I ever ask for a review sample of a product, of a monitor that's LCD, is the Nvidia Pulsar, because that one has flickering with VRR at the same time. Yeah, I want to see that. And better motion clarity than any monitor, any TV, any CRT. The only thing better than that is just the VR headsets. That's it. So that's 360 hertz. It's an IPS panel, but it has 4x motion clarity, and it works from 90 to 360. And you can even manually set it, the VRR range, I'm saying. You can even set it to lower, to go down to 60. So basically, if you're getting 90 FPS, it looks like 360. So it is very clear. So if you're getting 360, you multiply that by 4. So it looks better than 1000. Okay, it looks better than CRT. And it is super bright, even with that flickering. And of course, at that high frame rate, it doesn't even flicker. And it doesn't have ugly crosstalk. Yeah, some, but it's not from what I've seen, it's pretty good. So I'm very interested in trying that monitor. But of course, LCD, the contrast is what it is. The colors, it's not gonna be great. But yeah, Nintendo Switch 2 is gonna come out with an LCD first, which is very disappointing. Probably they will release an OLED version that's a lot more expensive later. Didn't know it was OLED very advanced for the date. Yeah, the PS Vita. I don't think the next year, more like midlife, but I hope you're right. I love Nintendo games, always bug free and great overall. Actually, I bought Zelda Breath of the Wild like 3 weeks ago as a gift for a kid, and I bought it on GameStop, and it was used. I'm like, you're selling me $50 this old game, and it is used, and the card was dirty. I'm like, yeah, can you please just at least find me one that's in good conditions? This is crazy. This is crazy. I pay like $54 after taxes. It blows my mind. This is a used game that is old for $50. It wasn't 51 plus taxes, something like that. That's incredible. I was just shocked. But thank you very much, buddy, for the super chat. I'm also using an LG C2 42 inches as a PC monitor. Why does Nvidia setting showing it can go up to 4096 by 2160 resolution? Should I use it? No. Here's the thing. You have to delete that resolution using the CRU app. Check out the S90C video where I showed how to remove DSC. So inside that video, I show how to use the CRU app, and I have a link in the description of that video. So you have to download the CRU app, and then you have to delete that resolution. And the reason is that resolution is completely useless because it is 17:9 aspect ratio. And the scaling is going to be wrong. So NVIDIA image scaling and DLSS factors go from the highest resolution. So the factor is going to be wrong because it's going to have 17:9 proportion. See? So you have to delete that resolution so the NVIDIA DLSS and NVIDIA image scaling factor goes of 3840 by 2160. That is one reason to delete that resolution. I mean, the resolution is still gonna be on the TV. You're just deleting it from the PC. And if you change the HDMI port, you get it on the other ports. And if you reset the changes on the CRU app, you get it back. Or if you reinstall the driver, sometimes you have to do it again. So, but it's very, very important you do that. The other reason why you want to delete that resolution is because in some games, you might notice that things don't look rounded. Like, for example, the wheels of a car might look oval. Even if you are using 3840 by 2160 resolution in-game, for some reason, some games will have that issue, like Watch Dogs, Legions, or GTA, any of the trilogy remasters. You will see that issue in some games. Now, with some games, you change to borderless mode, and it fixes the issue. So you no longer have the oval car wheels. But then the problem is, in some games, when you change to borderless mode, you cannot use HDR. So it is a problem. You have to delete that resolution. Very, very important. We have to do that with every single TV. That was one of the biggest reasons why I decided to replace the S95C. Because of the One Connect box, you cannot delete that resolution. So even if I get a 5090, which allows you to use DLSS and NVIDIA image scaling with DSC, even with a 5090, DLSS and image scaling is useless on the S95C or S95F or any of these Samsung TVs that have the One Connect box, because the One Connect box doesn't let you remove that resolution. So NVIDIA would have to change something so we can actually manually change the DSR factors for it to work well. So I think NVIDIA should be aware of that particular case and fix that, or maybe someone can do a fix with a third-party app or something like that. So very, very, very important. I'm glad you asked me that. I think that's a must know for all TV owners on PC. $50 use, yeah, that's crazy. But I wanted to give that game as a gift, because a kid has a Nintendo Switch, and I think that's the best Nintendo Switch game you can play. You can argue, well, the Tears of the Kingdom is a better game, but the performance is so bad that it's almost unplayable sometimes. It drops below 20 frames per second. That's like absolutely crazy. It's just too demanding for the Nintendo Switch. So you're using a 3080. It won't be 16:9. My TV also shows this option. Yeah, all the TVs show that. No 5090 yet, bro. Hopefully we can get one soon. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna be refreshing to see if I can get a 5090 on Best Buy. People are telling me it's gonna be a drop tomorrow. So my 1080p 180 hertz monitor shows 1440p 60 here, and DSR2X is 5120 by 2880 because of it. Oh yes, I know what you're saying. So yeah, so for example, this monitor has a 4K resolution, but it is actually 1440p. So the DLSS, the scaling from NVIDIA, would actually use the highest resolution available. The thing is, that 4K resolution is 120 hertz on this monitor, and it is only available when DSC is on. And when the DSC is on, I cannot even use NVIDIA image scaling anyway. But if I get a 5090, I could use NVIDIA image scaling, and the factor would go over the 4K resolution, and this monitor is not 4K. So it wouldn't make any sense. It would not look better. So it would be better to not have that resolution, basically delete it, and then have the factor go off your native resolution. So what I would recommend you on that monitor is delete that 1440p 60, which is not a native resolution anyway. So delete that so you get your DSR factors up to 4K as it should. Or 4K? No, 4K no. Will be less than 4K. 2.25x of 1080p would be 4K. I don't know. I will have to do the math. But on a 1440p, it is 4K. For 1440p, well, why is it 5120 by 2880? That is weird. Because 2.25x of 1440p is 4K, not 5K. I don't know why. Maybe you have a 4K resolution also. But yeah, delete anything that is beyond your native resolution. Delete that with a CRU app to get the best scaling with Nvidia. Probably, Bruno, probably it has that configuration to avoid getting more blue light. You know what? One thing, how's it going, Todd? One thing I have to say with QD OLED, and I was not expecting actually, I was expecting the opposite with QD OLED because, you know, we have a blue backlight of OLEDs, blue OLEDs. I thought, man, maybe QD OLED looks awesome, but then my eyes don't like it because it has that blue back, and then it's going to be nasty for my eyes. I thought that was going to be an issue. And actually, all the opposite. With QD OLED technology, I do not even feel the need of using low blue light settings. Like, it doesn't bother my eyes. Like with my LG C1, I love blue light killer settings. And I share those settings. I was using those settings for almost everything. With QD OLED, I don't need that. I can be looking at these screens all day long and it doesn't bother me. And they are brighter than the C1. So that is definitely surprising. I really, my eyes like it, and I like the technology. But that is very, very, that was very surprising to me because I was expecting the opposite. Many people think Breath of the Wild is better than Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, well, I have not been able to play Tears of the Kingdom because the performance is not good enough yet. I have it on the emulator, but it doesn't run well enough yet. Breath of the Wild runs at 120 FPS beyond 4K. It looks very, very good, but Tears of the Kingdom is not running that well yet. Take care. Yeah, I'll finish the stream at 2 hours. We've been here 1:57. Well, thank you very much for stopping by, everyone. I have been, you know, keeping the channel alive with live streams because I haven't been able to play or make any other videos. Of course, I can make a video even if I have an issue on my PC, but I just, you know, as long as I have an issue, I'm working on fixing it before I do anything else. So that's the easy. So 1080p multiplied by 225 is 2430p. Yeah, but that's not how we calculate that. So you calculate 1080p is 1920 by 1080. So you multiply that, you get like 2 million pixels. Then that number, you multiply that number by 2.25, and you're gonna get like 4 million pixels. So that is still going to be half the amount of pixels of 4K. Okay. So then the equivalent resolution for that, then that's the resolution, basically. So then what you would do is basically with that number. So this is how you do it. I will have to use a calculator. You do 1920 by 1080. You get that number, which is over 2 million. That number, you multiply that by 2.25x, and you get like 4 million pixels, a little bit more than that. Then that number, you're going to find the 16 by 9 proportion, and that will be the resolution. So basically, you divide to find the 16 by 9 resolution. That will give you that amount of pixels, basically, which is like 4 million pixels. I don't know by memory. I would have to figure it out. As mentioned, you can use custom resolution utility CRU to delete the 1440p and up resolutions. DSR will adjust to that once you reboot it. Thank you very much. That's what I'm talking about. Blue light control is very good after 19 hours. Better and cheaper than eyeglasses filter. I don't know what you're talking about, 19 hours or maybe 19 something else. I never use those blue filters, don't trust them. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the white OLED of W OLED has no color conversion. Yeah, maybe that's what is bothering to me. Actually, when they say 4K is 4 times 1080p, we're talking 2x horizontal and 2x vertical. Did his PC melt from GPU? No, but I might have to get a dedicated camera for the 5090. It's like a surveillance camera, waiting for it to explode, so I can get that, I can capture that moment to get a viral video. And then Gamers Nexus will buy my 5090 and I'll get famous. So I was thinking in terms of how DLSS calculates render resolution. Yeah, let's go, man. Let's leave it there. We've been over 2 hours. Thank you very much for stopping by. We had a great live stream. I was not expecting this many people. We had like 80 people consistently, almost 100 at some point. Thank you very much. I want to release more videos. Hopefully the problem is fixed after reinstalling Windows. It's already reinstalled. I just have to check the drivers. Open some games. I'm not gonna update the drivers yet to see if I get the blue screens, even with the old drivers. Hopefully it is solved and I can start making more videos. I do have a video ready that is a sponsored video. It's just gonna be an ad. It will say sponsor. So if you want to check it out, you can, but it's an ad. Okay. I got paid for it. It's on the video. It's sponsored. It was a company supporting the channel. We need that support, especially because we're gonna be dropping a lot of money, the 5090, and then even later we might get the 9800X3D, a new motherboard, new power supplies. So we're buying an entire new PC basically. So we need support. So that's gonna be an ad basically. So hopefully I can make a video to drop the same day I drop the ad. I'm gonna drop another video, so you don't get that video only. If you don't want to watch that. Okay. So thank you very much. You guys take care. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time.